I got a good one for y'all today. Yeah, boy. Yo, what's going on YouTube? This your boy Kamen Zero Spike back again once again today, people. Today we're here for another episode of Writer Gush. Now, yep, I'm keeping the name. Yep, this is the second episode of my little mini series that I'm doing here on the channel called Writer Gush, where I take some of my favorite writers and favorite sentai and I just sit here and talk about how much I like them and how much I gush about them and all that good shit. So, oh, excuse my language, I am so sorry, but yeah, guys, today we're doing Kamen Rider Amazons. Now, this was a very different freaking series for me. It was a very, I didn't know, I just kind of came across this series. I was seeing these writers all around. I heard that there was like a reboot slash remake of Kamen Rider Amazons, just like a new spin or new iteration of Amazons. And I was like, where did that come from? I saw people talking about it, but I was like, okay, I'm talking, let's go in. And yeah, it was very different. I was not expecting it to be so serious. I was not expecting it to be so, dark and gloomy. Everything was grayscale. There weren't that many jokes between characters. Everybody was just so, a lot of people, it was just so, it felt kind of dire. It felt like a horror movie. It was like Toku horror. It was like writer horror. That's what it felt like. It was so much going. It was so much going on, and we have these characters going through their, their daily, trying to survive against these monsters called freaking Amazons. And they was just out here mocking people. You saw it too. You saw the blood. You saw the disembowelment, you saw the gore, you saw all of that, and when it came down to people, and especially also other monster Amazons as well. Basically, Amazons are just like the monsters called what the monsters are actually called in this series, and these monsters, they eat people. Yeah, they just be running around eating people, and we have our little, our own division that goes out there. These regular people that go out there and they fight these Amazons. They kill these Amazons, so to protect them. They go on these missions. They have special weapons and stuff that are able to hurt Amazons, because a lot of normal weapons can't hurt these monsters. But we get introduced to our main character of season 1, which is Haruka. And Haruka was that guy. He was an Amazon, but he didn't like being an Amazon. Later on, as you see his story progress, he doesn't like being an Amazon. We do see his monster form, when he does eventually end up getting his Amazon belt or his rider belt. You see how he's experimented on throughout in the season 1, and you see how he goes through all his trials and tribulations and stuff to prove that humans and Amazons can somewhat live together, but at the same time, he was an Amazon himself. And I did like how the fact that we did see his monster form, we did see his Amazon monster form, but at the same time, the belt kind of takes your monster Amazon form and turns it into a suit. Because his Amazon form looked like his regular monster form, looked like his rider form, but it was taken and transformed into his rider form, which was Amazon Omega. And I do like how they don't really call themselves, they're not really called Kamen Riders. You really don't hear that word at all. You really don't hear them address themselves as Kamen Rider. It's always, I'm an Amazon. And yeah, there are no rider kicks. You just had violent. They had these attacks called violent punish, violent slash. Well, essentially where they basically just use their special move, but they're either hitting you. They either pull a weapon out of their belt, or you end up using their claws or their elbow blades or something like that to completely kill the opponent. There are no, like, you don't see like the monsters like the Amazon. When you kill them, they don't explode. They just like get all goopy, you know. And yeah, so then we see Haruka was helping this division team take out, like, help keep the peace and take out a lot of these Amazons. And if you see in the show, you know that guy, Amazon Alpha, he's out there. Jin, we love Jin. He was like that cool main character. Every time he came on the scene, your boy would freaking eat a boiled egg and it would shell it all and just transform. And he was always so freaking cool. He was always like just damn near the best fighter. And him and Haruka used to fight a lot. He kind of took on like a mentorship kind of role when it came on to it, Haruka. But there were times where they did get along, and a lot of times they were fighting each other. Like, they were fighting each other, they were doing stuff. And we see that Jin was kind of like his own lone wolf kind of thing. It was just he had a wife. He had a wife that was helping him and through with things, like, but at the same time, like, Jin was that lone wolf guy, and he was just so cool. Like, everything about him was just, he was cool, he was suave, you know. He didn't talk much, but when he did talk, it meant something. Like, he had his own morals and values and what it meant to be an Amazon and stuff like that. And yeah, and by the time we get to season 2, you know, that's when everything gets more and more detailed. Like, we get some more Amazons. Like, I know in season 1 we did have Amazon Sigma, who was like a pivotal character to like the human characters, because like he was like their friend, but then who died, and then they like brought his body back to life and made him into Amazon Sigma. And they eventually did kill him again, but I kind of wish he kind of stayed around, like, because the only Amazons we had was Alpha, Omega, and we had Alpha, Omega, and Sigma. And then we had Chihiro, who was all Amazon Neo, who was our main character for season 2 of Kamen Amazons. And there's a lot of characters, and there's a lot of nuances, and then there's a lot of story details and things like that when it comes down to this series. But I'm not gonna get into that in this episode. I do plan on like rewatching the series and maybe reviewing the series again, even though it's all out and it's kind of old, but it still was a great series that I would love to revisit. And yeah, but Chihiro, he became like one of my favorite characters. I know a lot of people consider him annoying, but Chihiro was always about the action. He was always ready to fight. Season 2 takes place like with him. Basically, he's with his friends, and he's the Amazon part of their group, and they basically just go off and they kill Amazons for like money. They're like these young punks who just out here killing Amazons for the cash, just killing Amazons for money, and they all get killed. In the first episode, they all got killed, and I was like, yo, like, I kind of like these guys. I mean, they seemed like they were kind of dicks, but like some of them, it was one of them that was actually kind of sweet to Chihiro, but like it just felt like they were using Chihiro just to get by, just to get money and things like that, because they didn't want to stop. Like, they wanted to like just walk around and go around killing freaking Amazons forever, like, but they all got killed eventually. And that really like messed with Chihiro. Like, that was like a really big plot point for him, like all throughout the episode, all throughout the season, where he was really kind of messed up from what happened to all his friends, and he wanted to find out who did it. But yeah, and we did have one movie, but later on in Amazon season 2, the big spoilers if you have not seen the series, Jin is Chihiro's dad, and Chihiro is half Amazon, because his mom is human. So he knew that was his, he kind of knew that was his son. He knew that he was his son, but it kind of didn't. It was a lot. You just gotta watch the series to understand what was going on. But at the same time, him fighting his dad, and Jin eventually dies at the end of season 2, and Chihiro's mom dies at the end. Like a lot of people die at the end of season 2, and that really messed with me, because a lot of these characters that died, I actually really like these characters, and Yeah, a lot of people died in season 2. It was messed up. And then we did have a movie with a new Amazon Neo. And yeah, he was like this dude who was in charge of this like mansion place. So he was like a restaurant where people can come in, they eat, well, humans come in and eat Amazons. And gotta flip the nail on his head. Like, yeah, like the humans were eating Amazons in this movie, and you know, they basically killed him and stuff like that. Not a movie review, but you know, Amazons, I wish it had more content. I wish it had, you know, got season 1, season 2 in a movie, and a lot happened. And I feel like they should have maybe had one more season or something like that. I would love it. Like season 2 kind of ends the way season 2 ends, it kind of leaves it open for a season 3. I would love that. But yeah, man, I loved this series. I loved, you know, it was a whole different route. It was a different, you know, it was a different pace from the regular writer stuff we had. Not saying the regular writer stuff we was bad. It was something different, and it introduced me to like another form of writer, and I heavily enjoyed it. But yeah, man, Kamen Amazons, yeah, very different series, very gory, dark, gloomy kind of series. It had its moments, it had its good moments, but it felt like horror a lot of the time. But it was cool though. I still thoroughly like enjoyed like watching and enjoying it. It was dope. I love Kamen Amazons, and I hope that you go out there and you check out Kamen Amazons for yourself, man. Check this series out. Watch season 1, season 2, movies, all that good stuff. Tell me what you think. Who's your favorite Amazon? Who's your favorite characters? Like, there's a lot of characters that I didn't mention in this video, but other than that, you guys, thank you for joining me on another episode of Writer Gush. I don't know who I'm gonna do next. I got a few people, got a few series, but you'll see it. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for clicking that video, liking, sharing, subscribing, hitting that notification bell. It means a lot to me, and I'm gonna see you guys next time. Stay henshin'.